I hit develop. And this is where I'm doing my experimentation. I get to a point in my image and I like it. Like this one right now, I like it. But I don't know. Am I able to really make this a lot bluer in here, or is it going to look artificial when I do it? I don't know. So I want to make sure I can get back to this point. Well, when you're in the develop module on the left side, remember you had presets. I don't want to save a preset because a preset's going to stay in there. For every image I ever work on, the preset will be sitting there distracting me. What I want to do is go to snapshots. Snapshot is, it's like a preset in that it saves the settings that you have. And I just clicked on the plus button next to it. But it's specific to this image. And so it simply remembers the state that the image is in right now. So at any time, I can experiment now, and if I ever screw up and think that this version looked better, all I need to do is go to this list of snapshots and click on this one to get back to it. So now I feel just completely open and free to come over here and experiment, to say, okay, what happens if I bring up my, let's see, this is an older version of Lightroom that this was processed in, so I'll update it. And then what happens if I bring up my shadows and try to get that detail out of the shadows? What happens if I bring up vibrance even more? What happens if I come over here to saturation and I try to make the blues even more colorful? I'm just messing around with it. What happens if I shift the color? But I don't feel constrained where I'm worried about, oh, what if I mess up the image? Because I have a snapshot that remembers exactly what the image looked like at that previous stage. Maybe I want to play with clarity. I'm just randomly playing with this image, seeing if I can get something that might look interesting. Then I can save another snapshot if I'd like. Just hit the plus sign next to the word snapshot. Give it any kind of name you want. And now I can switch between them. If I just click between them, it will shift my image back to the way it used to look and the way it looks now. And so therefore I can continue to experiment even more, not feeling bad about the fact that I might not be able to get back to where I was before because I saved it as a snapshot. These snapshots will only show up for this particular picture. They will never show up on any other image because they're based on that picture alone. And that's what's unique about a snapshot. It's specific to that image. I use snapshots a lot when teaching because what I'll do is I will show the various stages of an image from start to finish using snapshots. Now, most of the time, though, when I'm teaching, I'm using Camera Raw and Bridge just because most of the seminars that I give, that's what people ask me to teach. I wish they'd ask me to teach Lightroom more often because that's where I spend all my days adjusting images. And I'm seeing if I can find one that would be an example, and I don't know if I'll be able to. It's taking a moment. Oh, I wish I had a different version of that one. No, I won't have an example today. But what I would do is I would take a snapshot right after, let's say, cropping the image. Then I would take a snapshot right after doing the basic adjustments. Then I would take a snapshot after adjusting the HSL sliders. Then I would take a snapshot after doing whatever I do next. And that way I could show people how something progressed by just going to the snapshot panel and saying, oh, on this image, let's start after I've done the basic adjustments, but before I had done something else. And I can just get back to that point by using snapshots, and I find it to be overly useful for teaching. If you don't teach, then I'll just use it where I want to experiment, and I'll pop one in. I think I mentioned before that you have the history below that. The history should start from when you imported the picture. It'll give you the date that you imported it on, and that'll be there. And then it'll show you everything you've done to the picture. If you click back here on the word import, it'll show you what the image looked like when you first imported it. If it's never been adjusted in any other software, it would be what the image looked like when you first captured it. For me, this particular image I originally adjusted using Camera Raw and Bridge because I was teaching when I was doing it, and people usually ask me to teach that product, even though I'd like to do the adjustment in here. And I'll have to reset this one to show you the true original. That's the original. And other than hitting reset, which clears out everything, I would be